Okay. Calling the meeting to order.
Mrs. Bohan?
Here.
Mr. Conrady?
Here.
Mrs. Steiner?
Here.
Dr. Schulman?
Here.
Ms. Cheney?
Here.
Mr. Yekitis?
Here.
And Dr. Sitwalla?
Here. And we'll move on to the Pledge of Allegiance. And Mr. Aiken, would you do the honor of leading us in the pledge?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Then we will move on to the consent agenda, and the first item is approval of the minutes from the regular meeting held on November 13th, 2019. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved. Second.
Thank you. So, any questions or comments?
Okay. Mr. Conrady?
Yes.
Mrs. Steiner?
Yes.
Dr. Schulman?
Yes.
Ms. Cheney?
Yes.
Mr. Yekitis?
Yes.
Dr. Sitwalla?
Yes.
Mrs. Bohan?
Yes. Then we have approval of accounts from the month of November. Do I have a motion to approve? Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. Any questions, comments? And we'll go ahead and take the
Mrs. Steiner?
Yes.
Dr. Schulman?
Yes.
Ms. Cheney?
Yes.
Yes.
Dr. Sitwalla?
Yes.
Mrs. Bohan?
Yes.
Mr. Conrady?
Yes.
Do we have any communication from the public?
Any pink forms that anybody filled out? No?
Okay, then we'll move on to announcements.
I don't think we have any on the list.
And we have a correspondence folder. Okay. Then district recognitions. This is the fun part. And Dan Aiken.
Can I just step up here?
Yes.
You've got a major show ready for us here.
I was just, the other night, we had the first basketball game, anybody? They were supposed to have the Pledge of Allegiance, or the national anthem ready, and it was not in the right spot, so we had to say the Pledge of Allegiance with the whole crowd at the Nina basketball game, so I was used to leading the pledge anyway. First of all, I want to introduce our coaching staff, the ones that are able to make it. Steve Weiler is here. You can give him a round of applause. He's been with me, worked in track and field and cross for about 12 years. Danny Christensen is here. Danny's a retired teacher from Spencer, cross-country coach at Spencer. He's been with me 5 years. Matt Mickelson, our middle school coach, is here as well. We had just a terrific season. During the season, at one time, both the boys and girls were both state ranked, and that's never happened both at the same time, so we were pretty proud about that. The boys have been ranked in the past, the girls, but they have both programs ranked. That said a lot about the kids on the team. We had 15 seniors finish their careers. 3 seniors came out for the team for the first time. That's really neat to have in our sport, to come out for a sport in your senior year. And they were great senior leaders. So we just had a lot of fun this year with our athletes. Terrific kids, some of the best kids around. Some of our highlights, we were second, boys were second the last 3 years at the conference meet. The girls were third. And most, you guys know how tough the Valley is, especially in the track and field and cross. Top 2 teams qualified for state at the sectional meet. Our boys were third, so we just missed it. The girls were fourth overall with a tremendous sectional with the Appleton schools coming in, Nina. Hortonville took third at state, and Spash took second at state, so you see how strong our sectional really was. The girls, Appleton North, I believe, was 5th. Spash was 11th, so we had a tough conference and a tough section. We really did. 5 all-conference athletes, 4 state qualifiers, and I'm here to talk about our state qualifiers this evening. First of all, Michaela's here, a freshman. Michaela Dick. The neat story about Michaela is she was not able to compete in 8th grade. She was had an illness and was not able to run during the season. So this is a really great story. She not only competed and was on varsity for us, she was all conference Wisconsin Valley, finished 8th. And then at the sectional meet, when you throw in 5 more schools, Neenah, Appleton North, Appleton West, Hortonville, these were not small schools.
Excuse
She
me,
wound
ma'am.
up beating everybody.
Could we get your athletes to join you guys?
Sure, come on up.
Yes.
Come on up, all of them.
We can get them on camera as well?
Yes, I think that's important.
And Michaela just had a tremendous season. She was 8th at the conference meet, 7th at the sectional meet, and a truly remarkable season. She was also all-state academic. So running in her first meet, I don't think it's going to be her last meet at state, is Michaela Dick. Let's give her a hand. Eliana Conitz, sophomore, just a tremendous, probably had 2 of the best seasons in her first 2 years of any of our runners that I can remember. 2-time state qualifier, took place 33rd at state, and there were 190 Division I runners. She was 39th last year. Out of all the 500 kids at state, she was 36th place. That's absolutely tremendous. Second at sectionals. You guys that know me, I have a lot of stats. Mike Nixon's smiling over there. You guys know me. I got a lot of stuff. I got cards. I don't want to mess this up. She was also academic all-state. She nearly missed, I think, by 3 or 4 seconds of being an all-state runner, but she had just a tremendous season. That's Eliana Conitz. And Joshua, we'll talk about him first. 4-year letter winner. 2-time state qualifier. Last year he was 91st at state. This year 21st in Division I. And out of all the 500 kids, and these are good, these are great runners at state. I mean, this is a tremendous state for cross country. 26th place out of 490 runners. He earned 2nd team all state from the Coaches Association. So in January when we go to that meeting, we'll have an award for all 4 of the runners at a basketball game. 2nd place at the conference meet. He was 1st team all conference. 3 years in a row he was all conference and a 2-time state qualifier, and he's all state this year. That's Joshua McKee. And both the McKee boys are finishing up their Eagle Scout project, so I want to mention that they're outstanding citizens, and that's very important to us. Joseph and Joshua, they switched off all year, being our number 1 runner. They're both going to get most valuable. Joseph, 3-time cross-country state qualifier. And this year he was 17th at the state meet, Division I, 21st out of all divisions. That's 2nd team all-state as well. And all conference in our conference, 3 straight years. And just ran some outstanding times. And we got better and better every year, and that's what it's all about. Tremendous. These 2 boys, I've been coaching a long time, 30 years, on our courses. We don't change things. We're running the same courses we did, and they both set some school records on our courses. They ran the fastest 2 times at Ridges that we've ever had at the state meet. And they're both getting 2nd team all-state recognition next month. So Joseph also getting a 2nd team all-state award. Tremendous athlete, Sullivan. We had a long, nice video. We're just going to show 1 minute of it, Jenny. Just you can get an idea. I know a lot of you guys know about cross country, but it was neat that the city came through with a little recognition for the kids. This is posted on our Facebook page. Yeah, go ahead and play just the last one. We had about 30 kids continue to work out with the 4 of our. We had a tremendous turnout of supporters. There's like 5, 6 people that go to state team watch. It's incredible. So let the velvet roll down. Senior leaders. First year. And this was made by Lonnie Cody, our lone senior girl and 14 senior boys. So we had a great season, and it was a privilege to come share that with you guys. So thank you.
And we're happy to congratulate all of you, so great season.
Thank you.
Thank you, that was tremendous, Dan.
I'm
Thank
most
you.
impressed at how you guys run in that cold and wind that I barely survived being a spectator at it. At the Ridges first before the state. Oh my gosh. You guys are done.
And thank you to the coaches too. Thank you all. And we will move on to the superintendent's report.
Well, I cannot top that. That was tremendous, Dan. So I'm going to make my announcements very short. Thank you again. That was
We
outstanding.
need some
And-
good news this week, so
Well,
thanks for letting us
absolutely, but
swing
Dan,
a little bit.
Dan, you are the hallmark and the rock of that program, coaching as long as you have. And the kids have the experience they have because of what you do, and you did a very good job of showcasing your commitment to the program. So thank you. I think we need a round of applause for you. All right, just a few things. As I mentioned, I did want to note that next week, we do have one additional concert yet out there. We have the Winter Choir Concert taking place next Monday, September 16th, beginning at 7 p.m. in the high school auditorium at Marshfield High School. It's hard to believe that we're coming to the end of the calendar year already with the holiday season right around the corner. Winter break for students and staff in district, that will run from December 23rd through January 1st. And we did want to note that our district office here at the central office location will be closed during that break period as well. It's my understanding the high school may be open for a few days. Please pay attention to the website for the high school to find out what those options are for availability to see people at the high school. Otherwise, just wanted to round out with, from all of us here at the School District of Marshfield, we wish everyone a safe and happy holiday season. Thank you.
Thank you. And we have a list of gifts that have generously been offered to the school district. And I will read those. For Grant Elementary, candy valued at $50 from Boy Scout Troop 392, $250 from Cheryl Tire, Marshfield. And then from Washington Elementary, $202.50 for student lunch accounts, and $175 from Cheryl Tire, Marshfield. And then Lincoln School, 2 shelving units from St. Vincent de Paul, valued at $538. And then in general, 12 turkeys and potatoes, valued at $250 from Eric and Tracy Jonas for Madison families, and a Make It Happen grant from the Marshfield Area Community Foundation in the amount of $2,800 to assist Marshfield High School SMART Team with travel costs to San Diego, California. And then $2,500 from Rob and Allison Nicolai for boys basketball, a $200 donation to cover registration costs for AP exams, and for the School Force Lodge project, $10,000 from Nasonville Dairy. What is the board's desire regarding these gifts?
Accept with great thanks.
Thank you.
Second.
And a second from Mark. Thank you. And we'll go ahead and take the roll.
Okay. Dr. Schulman?
Yes.
Ms. Cheney?
Yes.
Ms. Giacchides?
Yes.
Dr. Sitwalla?
Yes.
Mrs. Bohan?
Yes.
Mr. Conrady?
Yes.
Mrs. Steiner?
Yes.
Okay, then we will move on to committee reports, and we'll start with finance.
Finance didn't.
And I'll do curriculum. The Curriculum and Instruction Committee did meet December 4th, and we looked at a number of things. First, the elementary and middle school math pathways has options for kids that are accelerated and also for those who need extra help. But in the past several years, some of the advanced math students entering the middle school were placed in a pathway that they inadvertently skipped 8th grade now. So standards. So last year, a rubric was created for the 6th graders going into 7th grade, and it uses data from the state exam, the Ames Web, et cetera. For the past 3 years, they've been using that to identify students that are advanced in math. And those in the 99th percentile were offered an option of using the ALEX math program. And these students then tested out of 7th grade math standards and then could go on and work on the 8th grade math standards. The middle school students that move beyond 8th grade math can also continue to use the ALEX program at the middle school. We also looked at an update on the mental health consortium that our school entered into with some other entities in the area that provide or have association with mental health needs and provision of services for those. And we got an update that there will be another update coming in the spring that will be more comprehensive for the whole board. But everything is going well. We have 4 providers that are servicing each of our buildings. There have been 58 referrals for kids that could use services that were not currently getting those services. At the elementary, we had 29, 10 at the middle school, 19 at the high school. And then the staff is looking at some of the barriers for these kids. Those might include refusal of services, or some of which were more appropriate for community-based services, no-shows, also the financial barriers. So a lot of that was looked at, and data is being tracked, and that's why you're going to get more of an update in the spring. So those are monthly consortium meetings between the providers, the counselors, the social workers, etc. A grant was submitted to the United Way in November, and the goal of the grant for the consortium is to establish a funding source for those financial barriers. And the district is seeking approximately $36,000. Funding would run from April of 2020 into March of 2021, and it would be reviewed in January with a decision in early March. So we don't know if we're going to get that funding, but the goal was to help reduce some of those financial barriers for families. And we appreciate the staff being on top of that and trying to find funding for that. On another item, we looked at the latest youth risk behavior survey data. And as we do that, we see some, things that surprise us as far as how soon middle school kids are using electronic cigarettes or different things that we didn't see growing up. And the staff is constantly looking at ways to address all of those issues, whether it's suicidal ideation or whether it's self-harm things, or whether it's just wearing their seatbelts and how to deal with that, or alcohol, or bullying, whatever the various topics were that we looked at data for. So they have the very comprehensive action plan that they work with to address those issues with the students and hopefully do preventive care as well as care for kids that need care and present that need. The good part about the data is that Marshfield data shows us at a slightly better position than most districts in the state, and so that's good, and in the nation. And the one component that I was excited about was the connectiveness. They have a question about, do you have someone in the school district that you could go to if you needed to talk to someone? And because connectiveness is a very preventive category for keeping kids from acting out or, or helping them get the help they need. And our connectiveness percentage was over 80%. So that was very good. And so that's about it on that. Then an update on disproportionality and special ed identification. So this is the thing where the state, the DPI, looks at subcategories within the district, like a minority. Are they being identified to a greater extent than other students in the district for special ed? And if so, why and how do you address this? So we did fall into that category and this year, and there was an overrepresentation of minority students identified with disabilities. And when, anyway, the staff is meeting and working on that. They're bringing in someone to, work with staff and do presentations on how we identify, et cetera. So that money, I think, Tracy, it's money that you're able to allocate for that normally you wouldn't, but this allows us to.
Right. It's part of the federal flow-through budget, which typically can be spent only on special education, but through this designation, we're able to spend some of the funds on regular education initiatives as well. So we're able to provide training for, we have 30 staff actually attending a training the next couple of days, rostering.
Very nice. Okay. And just a footnote on this is that these types of things in the life of a school district pop up every once in a while, and depending on the student population and the dynamics at the time. So we're addressing that. And that's it for curriculum.
Questions from any board members or any other additions from the committee members?
I'm sorry, I just wanted to make sure that the people who are watching and may not have been following the development of the mental health consortium understand that what we're aiming towards is giving better access to services in the actual school building. So we have got providers that are actually in the building that can help to smooth out those needs much more efficiently than having to have the child have an appointment outside in the community and missing school. It's just making it a little bit easier access so that we can address those issues more quickly and more efficiently.
And that consortium has also been able to be developed under a grant.
Yes.
So, we will move on then to facilities, safety, and transportation.
Yes, we did meet tonight. We had a discussion tonight on the contracts for bus services. We had met with 2 bus services. One was Right Way and the other one was Covisan Bus. We had a lot of discussion. We had interviewed them a month ago. Come back tonight with all the financials, everything laid out. And we, as a group, looked at Covisan as being one we'd like to go with. So with that, I would move that we approve Covisan bus service for a school district of Marshfield on behalf of facilities and safety.
And that's coming from committee, so we
Yes.
don't need a second, but are there questions or discussion about that?
Both bus companies we have interviewed. On the safety of our students, I believe each and every board member that was sitting on the committee had good feelings with either bus service, and that was our main focus. So,
Do you have any information you'd like to share with the board about Covisan? About just who?
Covisan has about 1,000 people working for them. I believe it was people, right? Yes. About 1,000 people working for them. The school district here went back and looked at the references, from either company. References come back great from all the school districts that they were working for, so we didn't see any hiccups there at all. So that's where we're sitting.
Anything else?
There was a really detailed review of both companies, both groups. Pat did a great job circling back and asking extra questions and getting adjustments in the bid, and it really could have gone either way, and I think we made a good choice economically speaking as well, and yeah, both groups had lots of good customer service feedback. I think either would have been a good choice. And we're all very comfortable with going with Covisint.
Financial, I don't want to call it savings, but a difference going with Covisint over Right Way 2. That wasn't the only or probably even the main reason, but certainly in the long run, when you're trying to determine one against another, that did become one of the deciding factors.
Then we'll go ahead and take the vote.
Ms. Cheney?
Yes.
Mr. Yekitis?
Yes?
Dr. Sitwalla?
Yes.
Mrs. Bohan?
Yes.
Mr. Conrady?
Yes.
Mrs. Steiner?
Yes.
Dr. Schulman?
Yes.
Then we will, anything else? Mark?
Nope, that was the end of our discussion tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. And we'll move on to policy and legislation.
We did not eat.
Okay. And employee relations.
Did not meet, but we could move right then to the next section with the new business for retirements and resignations.
Then we will move on to approval of retirements.
Okay. As an individual board member, based on information given to us by our HR director, Nicole, and other administrative people at central office, I'd like to approve the retirement of Betty Koopman, a food service server at Washington School.
And do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion? And we'll go ahead and take the vote.
Mr. Yekitis?
Yes?
Dr. Sitwalla?
Yes.
Mrs. Bohan?
Yes.
Mr. Conrady?
Yes.
Mrs. Steiner?
Yes.
Dr. Schulman?
Yes.
Ms. Cheney?
Yes.
Approval of resignations, once again, same system. These are brought to us by central office staff and Nicole from HR. Resignation of Ellen Bednarski, food service prep cook at the high school, and Brenda Kramer, library media center assistant at Washington School. So I make a motion, and we'll need a second.
To approve those resignations. And is there a second?
Second.
Sam Steiner.
Sam? Okay. Any discussion? Then we'll go ahead and take the vote.
Dr. Sitwalla?
Yes.
Mrs. Bohan?
Yes.
Mr. Conrady?
Yes.
Mrs. Steiner?
Yes.
Dr. Schulman?
Yes.
Ms. Cheney?
Yes.
Mr. Yekitis?
Yes. And finally, approval of employment of new personnel, Miles Langfeld, custodian second shift at the high school, replacing Jed Martin, and the hiring of Cassandra Morshevsky, I hope I'm saying that right, accounting department assistant at central office, and that's a new part-time position that has been discussed at previous board meetings.
And do we have a second? Thank you. Then, any discussion? We'll go ahead and take the roll on that.
Mrs. Bohan?
Yes.
Mr. Conrady?
Yes.
Mrs. Steiner?
Yes.
Dr. Schulman?
Yes.
Ms. Cheney?
Yes.
Mr. Yekitis?
Yes.
Dr. Sitwalla?
Yes.
Okay. Then we will move on to acceptance of the 2020 Robotics League Participation Grant in the amount of $4,359. And what is,
I move to approve.
I'll second.
any discussion about that? Then we'll go ahead and take the roll.
Mr. Conrady?
Yes.
Mrs. Steiner?
Yes.
Dr. Schulman?
Yes.
Ms. Cheney?
Yes.
Mr. Yekitis?
Yes.
Dr. Sitwalla?
Yes.
Mrs. Bohan?
Yes. And next, on overnight and extended trips, the first one is approval of the Experimental Biology Conference Smart Team presentation in San Diego, California, April of 2020. And is there a motion to approve?
Move to approve.
Thank you, Dr. Sawala. Second.
Second.
Thank you, Ron. Any discussion?
Under the estimated total cost per student, it doesn't look like it's complete.
Yeah, it
It will
looked like
depend
it-
on if our costs,
they're
but approximately.
missing. Yes, I noticed that as well. I looked at the form from last year because Amy Fassler, I think, has been doing this for more than 10 years now. Last year's form indicated $700 per student was the approximate cost. I think you also noticed in the form she talks about depending on travel, airfare, it was a little bit of an unknown, but just to put some sort of number out there, it looks like the form got cut off or the words, it like ends mid-word, but last year was estimated at $700 per student.
And there was that gift was
And
dedicated
$2,800
toward
Yes,
this as
they
well.
got- yeah,
And
and
it's
foundation.
was for this trip, yes.
Foundation.
So
Nice.
it's gonna be much, yeah.
There are only 4 kids.
And there are, it
Yeah, it's
was,
a little bit less. I think there were 6 last year, but it's 4 this year.
but I think there's a tradition of that being covered. There is a donor that is dedicated
Yeah,
to that
I don't think
cause.
that the number's accidental in knowing
No,
that it was
yeah,
$700 per
exactly.
kid a year,
I
so
think
it's probably
that's
what they're
what
looking at again
happens,
this
yeah.
year.
Anything else regarding that trip? And we'll go ahead and take the vote.
Mrs. Steiner?
Yes.
Dr. Schulman?
Yes.
Ms. Cheney?
Yes.
Mr. Yekitis?
Yes.
Dr. Sitwalla?
Yes.
Mrs. Bohan?
Yes.
Mr. Conrady?
Yes.
Okay, and the other trip is approval of the Science Olympiad competition at UW Milwaukee in April of 2020. What is your desire regarding?
Move to approve.
Thank you.
Second.
Any questions about that one?
Has there historically been any problem with funding this trip? It's just an overnight in a hotel. and-
I can offer as a parent of a student there were some funding issues at a couple years, and they were taken care of by an anonymous donation. So we were streamed for that. But I also, just as we talk about all these trips and such, just making sure that, you know, that we do have some means of covering students who can't pay for these wonderful opportunities. And that's all I'm going to say.
Yeah, I'm not aware of there being issues with making ends meet, if there's a shortfall in the past.
I remember previous discussions with this, and I think that has always been covered one way or another for a student so expressing desire to go and funding being a problem. I think there's some history of that with this program.
And I think that's true for competitions in particular. For some of the enrichment trips, they usually have fundraising options for students that want to go but otherwise wouldn't be able to afford. But the enrichment trips are a little different.
Right, yeah.
Anything else? Then we'll go ahead and take the vote.
Dr. Schulman?
Yes.
Ms. Cheney?
Yes.
Mr. Yekitis?
Yes.
Dr. Sitwalla?
Yes.
Mrs. Bohan?
Yes.
Mr. Conrady?
Yes.
Mrs. Steiner?
Yes.
And that's the last item on the agenda, so I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
Here, here.
Second.
Okay. And all in favor said
Aye.
Okay.